Hey, man. Hey. You alright? Whose wreck is that? It's for Specialist Albert Jex. Army. He's a 50 cal gunner on his CO's Humvee in Iraq, and back in February 9th of 2009 they were going checkpoint to checkpoint, and a vehicle came speeding in with a bomb on board, an IED, and they killed all of them. Eyewitnesses said that they heard that 50 cal start up and didn't stop until the explosion happened, and they found Albie in the rubble of a building right near where it happened. He got blown out of the Humvee. His heart was still beating, and it beat for 52 minutes after the explosion. Man. He's 23 years old. He died trying to save his team and himself. And I can't make a video. I don't know how to make a video for someone like that. You got the Bronze Star and the Purple Heart, Army Good Conduct, the National Defense, the Iraq Campaign with a Bronze Star. You got the GWAT Service, Army Service, and Army Overseas Service. It'll come to you, man. It always does. I hope so.
When I was with Gene, and he was going on and on about Afghanistan and how no one actually died in Kabul, and that we were seeing the fall of the cabal, and that this was just a show to wake up the normies so they'd pay attention, so they would finally try to understand what was going on in this dark world. And I still believed him at that time. And then I saw the stories coming out about Afghanistan women throwing their babies over barbed wire to save them from the wrath to come. And I just thought, if this is a movie, this is awful. This is an awful way to do it. If the good guys are in control, and this is what they want the people to see to wake them up, this is horrific. And then you hear about US soldiers and the people that died in Afghanistan. And you're still trying to think that this is all some majestic movie. And yet, it seemed like people were genuinely mourning, crying out for help. And then even Trump coming out and starting to address Afghanistan as being one of the worst military embarrassments the United States has ever been a part of. And you're still trying to figure out what is true and what's not, what's a movie, what's reality. The search for truth, man. When people are still dying in the hospitals, on the battlefields, in their homes from sickness, depression, suicide. It's not a movie. It's not a show. It's hurting a lot of people. There's so much disrespect going on. In the struggle to find the truth, I never realized the responsibility that came with this. Because if we get this wrong, we're being so disrespectful to those that have lost loved ones in these conflicts, to the people that are dying of fentanyl and drug overdoses, to the children that are still being trafficked. Adults, men, women. This is so important to get these things right. And in the previous one, I showed where the footage that's being used to say that the National Guard turned their back on Biden shows that he wasn't even inaugurated yet. You'd say it's a fake inauguration. All that stuff is still there to be discussed. But propaganda is real. The psychological war is real. And we got to get more things right. We owe it to those that have fallen. We owe it to the world. I'm not ex-military. I don't know a lot of this laws and orders and executive orders. I didn't care about politics until Trump came into the picture. And I only cared to a certain extent. And then I got sick. I had to do something with my time. I started paying more attention to what was going on. And that's how I came in contact with Gene. Q. This patriotic spirit that in the beginning was beautiful. Still exists. But then this echo chamber of the truther patriot movement started. And if you haven't seen any of my work before this, I'm not saying you need to, but don't judge me on this one video alone. Please. I'm tired of those comments. I'll take them. You basically have a video diary of my past months, what I'm into, what I'm like, how I carry myself in these presentations, what I've been through. I'm not saying it's worse than anyone else or any of that, but this burden of truth is getting heavy. I'm not a truther, not ex-military. I have no intel. I put pieces together. I got an experience that comes from working with one of these truthers, saying these things But it's all optics, it's all a movie, it's all a show. And here we are. Finding out that a lot of these people that came into this Truth or Patriot movement are grifters, are liars, and they were supposed to be the ones to take it to the cabal, to the deep state. They turned out to be gatekeepers, and they sold themselves for money. And some of them were plants from the very beginning. I love to have fun on these. This one's been weighing on me because I found myself going through this material and just getting so angry of how we could allow ourselves to believe some of the things that we have, but I'm guilty. I speak to you today as one that is guilty in many ways of being disrespectful to those that are losing their lives, thinking that so many are being rescued and that everything's already been handled and all we're doing is unveiling it to the rest of the world. I don't know what's true when it comes to that. But when it comes to Derek Johnson, I used to support him, share his videos all over the place on social media, wondering why people won't just wake up and realize this beautiful military operation that is taking place and unfolding in the world to bring us freedom. And then over time, recognizing Derek, screaming at veterans, calling them out, and getting angry anytime anybody challenged him. And I started to wonder, what do these other veterans really have to say? And yet I'm still guilty of not looking into it further. But I'm looking into it now. Because I think it's time that we hear from the other veterans. And in this video, we discuss stolen valor. And then at the end, I want to confront this 3 volley salute. I don't know what's true on a lot of this. That's what I'm searching for. I'm hearing this with you. We don't need to attack each other, but it's going to happen. Derek Johnson is the one that I've been attacked for even questioning him the most. And I'm not the only one. And it hasn't even been that bad from my perspective. But what we're about to share here is how bad it's really gotten for a lot of people that have even dared to question him. And I'm talking about veterans. I'm talking about researchers. I'm talking about anybody that tries to interpret these laws and orders differently than Derek Johnson. So to do this, as you saw in the intro, I played a very moving video by a veteran that cares for his brothers and sisters, that knows what it's like to serve. God bless you all. God bless you, Derek. The problem is you've been calling these people out, taking them to the cleaner, and sending your mob after people. There's reasons to question these things, especially as time has gone on. So that video that I played, it came from this Facebook channel that I will link to down below, called the Patriots Republic. They have a devotion to and a vigorous support for one's country. We're going to hear from the veterans now. One of the things that they posted that I thought was very important to start off with is how vital it is to correct misinformation and counter the disinformation related to Army forces or operations. As it says over here, all soldiers and leaders are authorized to correct misinformation about which they have personal knowledge if the information is unclassified and releasable. This is important. Transparency and trust from the American people is important to them. And we can get into the military and the things that they've been a part of. There's good people in there too. The majority. It's at the top. That's the problem that we've found. And these veterans are talking about how important it is to correct misinformation. And that is why they are speaking out on a lot of these things that have to do with the executive orders, laws and orders, and the way the government functions. In 5-27, threats use many methods in their attempts to attrit the U.S. domestic audience's trust and confidence in Army forces. Digital media platforms make it easy for threats to exploit information for effect, misinformation, and disinformation. But threats can use less technologically sophisticated methods as well. Intelligence, public affairs, and other staff members assist commanders in identifying misinformation and disinformation about the Army. Public affairs and leaders then correct the record as appropriate through official channels. All Army forces have a duty to be alert for information that erodes U.S. citizens' trust in Army forces and the Army as an institution. It's important that the United States citizens trust their military forces. And a lot of what I've seen has to do with codes and things that are being said, not just by Derek, but by many, about the ways that Trump, the military, and various things in the media are said and then deciphered. However, when you try to bring this stuff to friends and family, acquaintances that don't at all know what you're talking about, they look at you like you are batshit crazy. And I don't think that falls in line with keeping the citizens' trust. We have problems. We need to figure them out, what's true and what's not. Because everybody on all sides of the aisles, the echo chambers and everything are screaming for each other to wake up. Many don't care. And the reason is all this disinformation and misinformation. So when countering misinformation and disinformation, Army forces preemptively and proactively tell the Army story by providing public information and conducting community engagements. Critical to preempting misinformation or disinformation is a quick and active response by Army forces as soon as something negative occurs that might impact Army operations or perceptions about the Army. Public affairs specialists at all echelons assist the chain of command to get facts and context to the public audience as soon as possible. Facts and context, super important. Doesn't say anything about codes and having to decipher what is being communicated. I'm not saying that everybody in the military is on our side. I think we have a captured operation at the top, or at least what we're seeing through the media. So there's things to discuss here, but let's continue. Soldiers refer potential information for effect and disinformation concerning policy, classified matters, or anything outside their scope of knowledge to their public affairs officer or chain of command. Whether informing U.S. domestic or international audiences, effectively correcting misinformation and countering disinformation requires unity of effort. This includes coordination among the DoD, the military departments, Department of State, multinational partners, combatant commands, and Army forces. Annex J, Public Affairs, to operation plans and orders to all echelons provides direction and guidance that facilitate this unity of effort. Public Affairs guidance to include clear information and imagery, release authority by echelon, enables Army commanders to rapidly correct misinformation and to counter disinformation. So, when I've covered Derek, everybody always throws links to the executive orders, the laws and orders, his website. I'm going to link to his website down below. Their hope, in my opinion, is that no one's going to read through all of that because it is so much information. So if you're going to send me that kind of stuff, you better confirm in writing, in text, in your comment section, that you have read everything as well. Those without sin cast the first stone. You tell me You give me your text and your word that you've read every single thing that Derek has ever shared, and you agree with it, because I am tired of it. It's an overwhelming amount of stuff that would take a year's worth of class dedicated to learning everything that he shares. So please, be reasonable. So what I just read from comes from this manual. I'm going to also link to this down below the video. It is 144 pages on how important it is to counter misinformation and disinformation. Send this to Derek. This is the problem that we're having here. A person like Derek is causing people to get death threats, including veterans. We say that we support the veterans in this. And yet fake military expert Derek Johnson, I can understand why they're a little pissed. If you have been a victim of his recent doxing or malicious threats, please reach out to your LEO or commander. We are aware of death threats to active duty and veterans as a result of his actions. This is the issue that we are having. This is not fair to veterans. Even if, let's just say, Derek is right on many things, there is no reason to threaten any veteran because you don't agree with them. It's not acceptable. And part of that problem is the way that Derek conducts himself. The way that he gets so angry and pissed off, and he fires you up, make you feel un-American if you don't believe him. That is a dangerous, dangerous way to conduct yourself. Lo and behold, and I want more information on this. First, I would like to sincerely apologize for Derek and say my family and I are embarrassed about his actions. Derek is my half-brother. We have the same father but different mothers. Some of the statements that he has made are true, but the majority are of what I've seen is fabricated lies. We do come from a military family. I served in the Navy and Army and done tours in Gulf 91, Somalia 93, Bosnia 95, and Kosovo 2001. I am truly sorry for the way he has acted to anyone in this group, and any questions you want to ask me, I will answer to the best of my ability. Thank you all. This is Derek's half-brother having to apologize for his behavior. And I agree. I think there are things that a lot of these guys, including Derek, say that are true. We are trying to figure out what is true, what is propaganda, what is not true. And when you have Derek's own family coming out and apologizing for him, it's not a good look for the patriot truther community or veterans or American in any way. So if you didn't know that about Derek, his own family has apologized for the way that he's conducted himself and attacked other veterans and the way they've been treated for simply disagreeing with him. Case in point, one of many videos where Derek goes on one of his rants because people don't believe him.
Activate the National Guard to federal duty, they called it federalizing, is the President of the United States of America. And how and why did 99% of Americans sit and believe and even have a conversation with me that Nancy Pelosi, the Dane Speaker of the House, activated the National Guard to federal duty? Get the you-know-what out of here. You know what kind of insult that is to a veteran who served for all the right reasons, who knows military law? Just because my service got cut short and I didn't get to serve 20 years like your cousin or your freaking uncle who was a colonel, Miss you-know-who, someone's probably going to watch this. I saved you just for that reason because I knew I would roast you sooner or later. Just because I wasn't a colonel in the military does not mean jack dilly shit. That's the last word I'm going to use, Mom. I'm sorry. But it don't mean shit to my brain and my brothers and my sisters' brains out there. It all depends on what you're reading and what you're studying. It's sickening where we've gotten in this country. It's sickening. People who die for this country. People who die for this country. Look at all the memorial graves out there. There's thousands of them. Arlington is not the only one. There's thousands of graves all over this country who died for you. 17, 18, 19 years old. I have a cousin who just turned 18 who died in Vietnam for you. For you to make stupid and ignorant comments. I have a best friend who was an orphan. An orphan. He joined the military because he said that was the only thing he could think of that would give his parents that adopted him the gratitude for what they gave him. And people like you want to get in my inbox and say bullshit like that. And you want to say it everywhere else. You're a disgrace to this country. Take your happy ass to a memorial cemetery and look at how old those kids were that died for you to have your life. That's why we're this country right now. That's why we're jacked up.
And that's what he does. He makes you feel un-American for not believing him. And he turns you on people that are just questioning him. I'm sure he gets attacks, so I can be understanding to a certain extent. But there's more to cover here, and we'll get into that. But his own family has had to come out and apologize, as I just showed. And I'm not going to get worked up. I understand to a certain extent some of the things that Derek is saying. But it's not just one occasion, a couple occasions. It's many occasions. On one hand, the people that support Derek Johnson have shown that they will go to any extent to support him. It's because he gets you all warred up and fired up and feel un-American for not believing that some miraculous plan is taking place. And I'm not here to say that I know or that it's not. I have questions, and that's what a lot of us are raising. But when it comes to these veterans, they know things that I don't know. So I trust them to have at least a stance when it comes to discussing the interpretations of laws and orders. So even taking public information and sharing it with a large group of people with the intent to potentially cause harm to those individuals. On the other hand, the people who knew their information would be public have gone to an extent for any means possible to take down his forum to remove the spread of misinformation, lies, and constant badgering of veterans based on his outlandish theories. This is a major problem. And in a previous video that I just did, as soon as Crash started asking questions, Derek went into his Telegram and on his X account and told people to go and get this, what was it, dandelion that thinks they're a daisy. This isn't how to conduct yourself. We need to push back on the fakes and the frauds, but when people are just asking questions, and we're going to get into another piece where a veteran literally is just trying to have a reasonable conversation and he loses his mind. This is the problem. This page is now dedicated to sharing the truth, sharing stories of our country and ensuring we keep the strength of our nation intact by removing the wool over the eyes of the followers that are being misled by a person who fabricated his own expertise on a topic he has zero credentials for. Interpretation does not mean education. If you don't trust what we say, then ask yourself, why are there so many of us that say he is lying? Why have we gone to such great measures to make sure people see the truth? That's the question. Why are there so many veterans that most people do not research and do not search for? That's why we're doing it in this video. And there's so many things to touch on. How much time Derek spent in the military, the questions about that whole thing. Will Byrd, apparently, from what I've heard, has contacted some of Derek's family in the past and gotten statements from them. If that is true, that someone shared with me, please share that information so that I can have a better understanding of that situation. But there's also questions about the stories that he has told about being captured and tortured by the Obama administration. We need clarification on a lot of things because this is vital to the sanity and the respect that we have for each other. This is a case where a veteran, as you will see, was just calmly trying to have a discussion with Derek, and you see what happens. This is a problem. This is a problem. And then I will also say, pay attention to who pops up on the screen in this X space. It's not a very fun listen to, but we got to do it. We've got to pay attention to this stuff to have an understanding of why it has to be a war of words, even to just try to have a discussion about what is really going on. In past material, I've covered the person that I'm going to point out when they show up. It's important to see how this network works. The Flynn network and all this stuff is in question right now. We're trying to figure out who we can trust and who we can't, because everybody that seems to be attached to this network seems to be compromised, and therefore their message is compromised. That is what is in question with Derek Johnson here.
The continued functioning of a form of government under the Constitution. So it can't be suspended. It can't be, mitigated and whatnot. So the other one is to provide, to make sure that there's still visible leadership, right? So you can't go underground. It's not a secret. There's no secret things that happen there. So those are the two biggest things that I see that I have issues with. Because I've looked at this the Military Justice Act, the Law of War Manual also. You know, when you're looking at military manuals, it's very important that you first look at purpose and scope of the manual. And purpose and scope of the manual.
This is important because the Law of War Manual was pushed very heavily by Derek and many in this movement, a lot of them just parroting what Derek was saying because he's their military guy. The Law of War Manual is a guide. It's not something that you just follow to the T. It's a guide. It's open to interpretation like all these laws and orders. That's something that we'll have to dive deeper into because there's a lot of questions about the person who wrote and re-updated in, I believe, June 2015 that was pointed to, saying that that was Trump signing off on that. And the guy that did it, we'll get into that eventually. But notice Jan Helper Hayes joining this space. Jan Helper Hayes, from past material and the things that we've been covering on this channel and others have been covering ad nauseum. Someone to question. Just so happens that she happens to be in this space with Derek Johnson. As you have witnessed, other veteran who served many, many more years than Derek can ever claim, and he's about ready to crap on him despite it, is calmly trying to discuss this stuff with Derek. And yet he can't seem to be able to handle it.
For the law of war, if 1.1, third paragraph, this manual is not intended to and does not create any right or benefit, substantive or procedural, enforceable at law, or in equity against the United States, its departments, agencies, or other entities, its officers or employees, or any other person. So the Law of War Manual is not designed to be used, even if the United States was somehow, preoccupied with something. Now, that doesn't mean that, I absolutely am not a freaking Biden fan. But what I think is happening is it's distracting us from the issues that we need to deal with, which is our elections, local government, and, fixing our elections, really. And no one's going to help us do it. That's not the military's job. I've served for 20 years. We would rather take our uniforms off and fight with the people.
Thank you.
We would not rise up against their... And so the chain of command also is very important. The chain of command can't be delegated, and command and control of the forces is also something that's a safeguard against, preventing a coup in the United States. So, yeah, there's a lot of flaws here, man, that I think are kind of cherry picked, to be honest with you. So, anyways.
Well, good. I'll tell you what. You know what? If you want my platform, then you can fucking take my platform, and I'm gonna be dishonest with you. This is what's wrong with America right here.
Really?
You come in flex your whole.
Man,
no, hold on. You spoke.
Yeah,
No, you spoke. It's my turn. You spoke. It's my turn. This is where your whole bullshit 20 years served. Why do I have colonels? Why did the commander in chief invite me down? Why, of all podcasters? See, this ain't about me, but this is a veteran thing here, and I'm coming at you as a veteran. And you're sitting here, you want to flex your muscles, you want to flex your gums, you want to flex about your bullshit service.
Notice that Derek didn't even try to have a reasonable conversation. He immediately felt threatened. You're being challenged, Derek, but it doesn't mean you just come out of the gate and call this guy out for flexing when he didn't get a high tone, he didn't come aggressive. He's trying to have a conversation. This is the problem that we have. And a lot of people are angry, so they jive with what Derek is saying because they're pissed off. I'm pissed off too. But this doesn't do us any favors. That man was being reasonable, pointing out specific things and the very things that everybody always shoves in our face whenever we challenge Derek Johnson. They send all of his links, they send all of his website, and all the executive orders. We can have a reasonable conversation like that gentleman trying to have. And immediately Derek went to, you want my platform? He's possessive of his position in this whole thing. And I know more about that, but I'll save that for a later time because more I think is going to come out on Derek and the way that he is. I won't get into it.
All this stuff about you, it ain't about you. And everything that we're talking about that we served in the military for, and your uniform, why would they put this up for everybody to see our uniform disgrace? Now that's why I have a problem. And people can say, you have an attitude problem. Well, maybe I do. Because every uniform they have shown around Joe Biden is the wrong uniform. And you sitting here flexing your...
I think you are.
And you served in the uniform, and you could have died in the uniform that our brothers and sisters died in, and you sit here and flex your bullshit gums about shit that don't matter.
So does it matter or not, Derek? Because that's what you do. You shove down all of your links and all of this extensive stuff that a lot of people have called you out for just copy and pasting from manuals. And he's literally talking about a specific manual, law of war, and other things that you've shared. And now that doesn't matter. What matters is that people are wearing the wrong uniform when they're around Biden. What we're finding in this patriot truther community is a lot of frauds. A lot of people that put the red, white, and blue on their backgrounds, on their videos, and they pretend to be patriots. We're talking about the military who is trained in PSYOPs. We're talking about General Flynn, who for the longest time pretended to be MAGA and for Trump, and he still is, but we're starting to see the cracks in that. Why would they not be doing military PSYOP operations on the public for visuals? When it comes to like various characters like Simon Parks, Gene Decode, and these guys that have pushed things that I've broken down to show that it was propaganda, how do we know that some of these guys are not working with the very people running the PSYOPs? Maybe not even knowing they are. But they're giving them the cues to tune into, to push out to the masses, to cause this hysteria that Derek Johnson is constantly causing, especially when someone's just trying to have a conversation or a disagreement, but a conversation about what he is talking about and his interpretations. And he's screaming so loudly that the microphone's cutting out, and people are like in an awkward state trying to get him to calm down, and he won't. And he's accusing a veteran that served all those years of basically being un-American. This is sad.
Philly, bro, you need to
When there's not cherry picking.
lower your voice because we can't hear you. You are overreaching the voice limit, so we can't hear you, Derek.
Derek, I just want to tell you one thing, that we can discuss this, and we really love to do that. And you are among friends. We know that we have been researching this for a long time, and I just Dr. John Holper Hayes. She's actually here in the space, and we will do an interview on the 15th. So where you and John Holper Hayes, and I think he dropped.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I apologize.
Yes.
I was just trying to have a conversation. I apologize.
No, but the rules. Yep.
Oh, dear Lord. So you're telling me, I know people always throw at me, well, why is he around Trump and blah, blah. Crash is questioning if that's even the original Trump. We've got a lot of questions when it comes to these various things. Mar-a-Lago, I think it's a lot easier to get in there than people realize. And Trump spent 4 years walking around with pedo Pence. Keep that in mind. But you're telling me that they chose Derek Johnson to be like this amazing spokesperson for whatever you want to call it, the Great Awakening or this military operation, when he can't even have a conversation with another veteran? That doesn't sound very like smart military planning, if you just ask me. So let's say that Derek's right about everything. Let's just say that, which is impossible because we've already proven where he was wrong about the National Guard turning their back on Biden. That he's been wrong. We're going to get into the 3 volley salute. Let's say he's right on a lot of stuff. Even if this ends and it's just this beautiful awakening to all this great stuff that's been going on, I will still have a problem with Derek Johnson for the way that he conducts himself and treats other veterans, especially, and the people that follow Derek and bring such vile hatred and anger to everything that they do when someone questions their idol. It has to stop. Patriots Republic again. Overnight, we've seen General Flynn talk about Dave, aka Derek Johnson, who in turn has released a video where he declared the Gaza situation and deaths of innocents as beautiful optics. This stuff, similar to what Gene was saying about Afghanistan. Optics. Not really happening. No one's actually dying. It's all a show for the normies. This is the problem we're having, because now you're even hearing Trump coming out and talking about how he spent a night with the fallen soldiers' family members, the 13 fallen American soldiers in the Afghanistan situation. He spent a night where they just told stories about their loved ones that they lost in that conflict and listened to music. This isn't optics, man. And this Gaza situation, it's got a lot of us questioning many, many things. Because if Trump is the commander-in-chief, and this is all happening under the good guys' watches, why does it seem like so many people are dying? I get that. People always come back and say, this is war. There's going to be people dying in war. Not what we were sold. That's not what we were sold while Trump was in there. Either way, this is a disgrace, and this is disrespectful to say this kind of stuff. Even if this was a movie, even if this was a show, which I don't believe anymore. Me personally. If it was just a show, you still wouldn't come out and say this kind of stuff. But you have to, because it's part of your narrative. And it's a problem that we're having in this patriot community. And we're fighting each other over this stuff. We need to come back down to reality and have proper discussions and conversations like that last veteran was trying to have. Just a reminder to all of our followers that we are not connected to Derek Johnson in any way. We do not agree with his conspiracy theories, and our thoughts and prayers are with everyone who has friends and loved ones on deployment or living overseas. We fully support every branch of military and law enforcement, and hopefully our posts reflect that. That is nothing but a reasonable stance, you have to say. Now, a lot of other things that people have thrown at me, which I can't believe they even argue for Derek, is that he's not a grifter. Derek's not a grifter. Right. Okay. Following on from our scam alert, social media channels are now talking about this. Please don't be scammed. It's $24.99 for a booklet of downloaded free information. And with no visuals or a shipping date, he's already blocking people for asking where it is. If you have been caught out, you can make a claim through Shopify or your CC provider. Derek Johnson, the unregistered 1776 Nation, are not connected in any way to us here. Shop safe, stolen Valor. And don't you even dare ask when the book will be shipped. Derek is sitting on over 110,000 in pre-sales right now. Hope he's got a good attorney. Stolen Valor, scam, fact, not fiction. This is free information that he's compiling, and then he's charging for it. He's not a grifter? Give me a break. Following on from our scam alert from the conspiracy theorist Derek Johnson, his live last night took 13 minutes to tell us how his book is a download of internet files that he just put in chronological order and is 204 pages total. It's a pamphlet for $24.99. Also, there's no shipping date, as it's not even printed yet, so don't message him. He needed the pre-order money to have it printed. Right. Military operation. As we have previously stated, he is not in any way affiliated to our registered 1776 Nation page. The truth should be free, man. And then people will send me links to his freaking website, which we'll look at now. Calm down. Fact check this. Derek's not a grifter. So you can go through this, and I've been going through it, and it's hundreds and hundreds of pages that he doesn't ever expect anybody to go all the way through. But if you have, then come at me. But until then, piss off. Donate to the cause. 3 different ways that you can donate to the grifter that is Derek Johnson. You can catch him on Spotify. How about 1776 Nation? So, you have t-shirts, you have posters, merch that he's selling. And I'm not even against people necessarily selling, but he's using Trump to grift. Donate to the cause. What cause? Are you part of the military operation? Because if you are, you're pretty sloppy with the documents that you're sending out. It's just copying and pasting and linking to official documents that anybody can do for free. Then there's other site where he's selling his country music. And cool, if he wants to be a country music star, I think his music sucks. But that was before I ever even questioned Derek. I thought, man, this guy can't even sing. What is going on with this guy? But if you love his music, then support him. I don't care. But you're trying to tell me he's not a grifter? He's got all kinds he's got more than most to sell. He's got books, he's got music, he's got merch. Come back to his website. He was selling the Roots brand. He's all up in the grift. So do not tell me he's not a grifter. Or it can at least be thrown in that as a question as to whether or not he's benefiting and profiting off this movement, which Q warned about. Patriots are selfless. I'm glad I didn't make this earlier because I was a lot more pissed off than I am now. It just works me up, man. And it's probably partially because of Derek's rants. They get you all fired up. But I'm going through this. But I'm telling you, if people keep sending this to me like I don't know about it and I haven't been through some of it, get off my back. Because unless you've read everything and you're willing to put that on paper and put your word on it, don't send it to me. I know about it. I'm even linking to it below this video. There's going to be so much to cover. His flight stuff and his trips to Mar-a-Lago and all of that. But not for this video. Because now we get into something that's very important. So following up with that, It appears to me that we have people who claim to be patriots of our nation who use their time and service to build their platform. As he was screaming at that veteran, "You want my platform?" Blah, blah, blah. That's what he cares about. He cares about his grift. He cares about his standing, his celebrity. Yet they look for ways to discredit our American heroes, our veterans that have served way longer than Derek ever did, and spread misleading information about our government, which goes back to the beginning when we're talking about how important it is to these veterans that people understand what is actually going on and have trust in the military. Because you can believe Derek all you want, but we have no idea why the good guys, if they are in control, are allowing all the mayhem at the southern border and all the wars going on in the world and the crap that's going on in our government where we're sending money continuously to Ukraine. Derek Johnson can't stop lying. Exposing Derek Johnson. Follow for more lies uncovered. I'm going to, like I said, link to that Facebook page. There's so many gems in there where they've had all the discussions about the various things that Derek has shared, where he's talking about how people are being arrested and taken to Gitmo, and they disprove a lot of this stuff. That's not for this video. That's for your own research. So all the people that love to push Derek stuff on me, I'm doing it to you too to a certain extent, but I'm making it easy for you. I'm putting it into a video, and then I'm putting links down below so you can easily find it. So just like what you guys do to me, and I have been through it, but I don't want to give people's names on Facebook, and I don't want to show who they are on this video. I'm protecting identities because people get attacked like none other. And that includes people that support Derek Johnson. I'm not trying to attack you. I am trying to have a conversation. I'm a little worked up. Maybe Derek and I can spend some time in anger management together. D, why are you here? This guy Derek Johnson pissed me off. And then Derek Johnson can be over there. Why are you here? Because these people that are the disgrace to this country, fallen soldiers everywhere, go to the cemeteries, they don't believe me. Blah, 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 blah. We can sit there and we can work it out with a therapist. Bring it on, Derek. We'll go to therapy together, brother. Stolen valor. This is important. Let's get an understanding of where these veterans are coming from, because they don't want to be associated with Derek Johnson at all. Patriots Republic. Stolen valor. This has become a hot topic over the past few years, mainly due to videos posted online of veterans calling out those who are believed to be stealing valor. A previous post has explained the meaning of this term, stolen valor. However, there are occasions where people are misidentified and chastised for simply wearing a military uniform. I mean, they're for sale anywhere if you look. I've given my own neighbor old uniforms for use as hunting attire. Those occurrences are not stolen valor. Now, when individuals start wearing name tapes, service branch insignia, unit patches, and also betray themselves in a fraudulent way, that's where the fraud comes into play regarding stolen valor. Most of the stolen valor law, as written, speaks about those falsely claiming medals and decorations, but revisions were incorporated to include those speaking fraudulently about their military service in an effort to acquire monetary gain. And I have this all on the screen, so if someone wants to pause, read it, and fast forward, you can. This is a video. You can speed it up, you can slow it down. There's a ton that I'm leaving out here, but I'm willing to discuss more in-depth conversation in the comments for all to see. And for those that love to listen to my voice, I'm trying to stay calm in this one. I'm having a hard time. Derek's working me up, but I'm not blaming him. I got some issues too. I'm happy that I'm sober, praise God, unlike some other pages with a similar name. So now I wouldn't take you this far without giving you an example of an individual committing such fraud. Derek Johnson, aka Rattletrap 1776, or whatever he calls himself on various platforms. He covers them all and never leaves out the many ways to donate your hard-earned money. Like we were saying, people that want to say he's not a grifter, man. He's not trying to be a celebrity. Give me a break. Yes, Derek Johnson is stealing valor. How, you ask? 1. Part of his story in his own documents claims is a classified occurrence of him being tortured by Obama cronies during his time in Army training. He claims this happened because he essentially knew of the government's secrets and he knew certain people in high offices. If you spent any time in military training, you'd notice someone missing from training for weeks, as he claims, from training. He has since tried to edit his document with changing certain words to make it more believable, but we have the originals. This story is so far-fetched. To seasoned veterans, it sounds like a story a teenage ROTC student would write in literature class. Does this picture represent someone who the Army let be tortured? He seems pretty happy. Fraud, lies, stolen valor. Now, that's the other thing about these guys. If they are such a threat to the bad people, They tell all these stories. Gene's got stories. Derek's got these stories. But they ain't being shut down. They ain't being attacked. Their financial gains are not being harmed. It's crazy, man. Number 2, wounded warrior claim. Yes, Derek Johnson claims to be a wounded warrior. As a retired veteran of 26 years on active duty who has seen buddies truly wounded in action, this claim sickens me. He refuses to elaborate on the details of his injury, but his own brother has testified that he had a knee injury while in training. Now, don't confuse that with being wounded. Derek is always very careful not to discuss his brief time, which was 2 years, served in the Army, where he never promoted and never became part of the operational service. I personally had knee and back surgery during my service, recovered, rehabilitated, and continued on and served until retirement, but never would paint myself with the same brush as true wounded warriors. I have close friends who even were awarded Purple Hearts for wounds suffered in combat, but due to how minor, they would never consider themselves wounded warriors. But then there comes Derek Johnson with his little knee injury that happened in training and claims to be a wounded warrior. Seriously? This is fraud, stolen valor, and lies. I don't advocate for violence, but I'm just saying that if he went onto any military base claiming his knee injury, wounded warrior status, the outcome would be fierce and not in his favor. And just because everybody will start to accuse me that I'm using one source of veterans for this video. Now we go to Will Bird and what he thinks in a little nutshell, because we're going to get more from Will Bird when it comes to the 3 volley salute. What he thinks of Derek Johnson. Be reminded, I'm not from the military, ex-military, and not claiming to be at all. Will Bird of Cold Beer Confessional, he is a decorated veteran. So I tend to listen to the veterans, even if you don't agree with them. Let's listen to what Will Bird has to say in a nutshell, because I'm going to link down to his full video below this so you can check the whole thing out. What Will Bird thinks about Derek Johnson.
Derek Johnson is a grifting piece of shit.
It tells you laws and orders, because we're a nation of law and order. Oh, all of a sudden, oh man, this guy, look at this guy. Oh, and look at him. He's all upset today. Not upset.
Look at this guy.
Shoot. I sleep like a baby every night.
Every night. Every night. He's all upset. He's all upset. Derek Johnson's extent of military knowledge is him going in. He claims he went in for the right reasons because he just wanted to serve the country. That's a lie. He went in to pay for college. Then from the very moment he went in, before he even left basic training, he claimed an injury with his knee and back and continued to complain about that injury until basically they said, okay, if you're not going to do anything because your knee and back hurts, we're going to have to get rid of you. And they med-boarded him out. The thing is a joke. He's a joke. Derek's a joke. He has no deployments. The entire time he was in, he was basically refusing to train. But because he was calling a medical, it's a scam you can basically run on the military. If you get in and let's say you get some type of injury that has paperwork with it. Let's say you slipped and fell. Now your back and knee are sore. All you have to do is refuse to do anything else but complain. That is not technically a refuser to train, which would get you kicked out dishonorably because you have an injury with paperwork. It takes years of you being... So, like, Derek quoted people saying that he was being a piece of shit and he was a disgrace to the uniform, and I'm sure he heard that because people knew that he was feigning this injury. And because he kept doing that, in my opinion, because he kept doing that, I've seen people do it. Eventually, he will get out. Eventually, he will get out of the military, and eventually that'll be a medical discharge. You couldn't just call him a shitbag and kick him out for refusing to train because technically he's injured. I've seen people do it. A guy I went to basic training with did it. A guy I was in a unit with did it. It's part of it. Some people, a very, very, very small percentage of people who are real shitbags do it. If it was like a real big problem, obviously the Army would have problems because you get retirement for the rest of your life, right? Medical retirement. No deployment, no overseas time. He did have a top secret security clearance. Everybody, 90% of the Army has a top secret security clearance. It's because the weapon system he works on, he has to have it because the weapon is technically classified. It's a missile system. technically classified as artillery, but it's a missile defense system, so you has to have top secret. Every time we deployed, people who didn't even have top secret, they would have to get it there on site so we could brief with missions. It's not that big a deal. Top secret is nothing in the military. It's nothing. So here we go. Even his own brother called him out as just going to pay for his college degree, his master's degree. His own brother said that's the only reason he went. And then his own brother also told us that from the moment he went into basic training, he complained about an injury. He wasn't even going to pass basic training, and his brother called in a favor. Like, that's a joke. He couldn't pass basic training, but somehow he also claims in his documents that he was so close to congressmen and senators that were working on this Q plan that the Obama soldiers tortured him. They were going to make him a general any day now. He was fast tracking his goals to become general. Sure you are. You were a broke dick, is what the military would fondly call you, a broke dick.
And there you have it. These military guys put in serious work. They take their job seriously. They take defending the nation seriously. And that's what you have with Derek Johnson. Colorful words, but it is what it is. Number 3, TS/SCI clearance claim. First of all, his job as a 14S did not and currently does not require a TS clearance. The military is not spending money, time, and resources to investigate deep background checks for someone who does not need that clearance. He has made this claim many times. However, I guess he doesn't understand the time it takes to get this type of clearance. Not to mention he was sent to Fort Irwin, assigned to OPFOR, LMAO. Laugh my ass off. You don't get place of OPFOR if you have a TS clearance. He had no reason for the military to issue that level of clearance. Another lie, fraud, stolen valor issue for old Derek. And it continues. I'm saying, these guys aren't messing around. They put in the work. It's important to them. And they want it done right. And they want the American people to understand that. And please respect them, even if they disagree on certain things. And old Derek Johnson, Mr. Laws and Orders, can't even stay in order when it comes to having conversations with these guys. And so they got a little war going on. So it's probably coming from both sides. So like I said, I am not trying to attack Derek, but I'm a little pissed off. I'm trying to keep it calm. But these guys have every reason, because he is causing them to have death threats and being told that they're un-American by Derek Johnson and his followers, to say what they're saying here about stolen valor. Creating a narrative based on false information, then advertising for donations via his many pages, he actively seeks monetary gain from stolen valor. Again, for those of you who may have never served in the military, you need to realize how idiotic and dumb his claims sound to seasoned veterans. And that's the problem. I'm not ex-military, and most of us aren't. That's why it's so easy to fall for this stuff. All this grifting and all these stolen valor tactics that these guys are using. I'll include Gene Decode in that, Derek Johnson. The list goes on with some of these guys. He's quick to delete comments and block veterans from his pages so that you can't see their comments. The same tactic as Madison Marquette. Deletes, blocks, and keeps people away from, with all of the people that help support these people. They have it locked down so you can't come in and say anything against them, so that it keeps their pages clean and it keeps looking like the harmony for Derek Johnson. It's just so unbelievable. He's amazing. He's a hero. He spends a ton of effort, time, and resources to control what comments you see on his pages. This picture doesn't look like someone who was tortured by Obama secret agents while he was in training. All lies. He utilizes this made-up narrative of his to pander to those seeking various changes to government, society, etc. He has numerous pages: Twitter, Rumble, Facebook, TikTok, etc. What do they all have in common? He ensures that those pages have his various means to which you can donate your money. He always makes sure of it. He has no real job and has never held real employment since his time in the service. He depends on the lies, fraud, and stolen valor to facilitate the monetary gain through donations. Looking forward to discussions in the comments. Like I said, that's where a lot of really good stuff is, because there are people that support Derek there, and they make arguments. Both sides get to have a discussion. And some of it's a little fire. Like I said, I'm trying not to come out against Derek, but a lot of this is coming off a little bit like that. But it's important because this is serious. Truth is serious. The trust for any country, but here in America, the trust to have in veterans and what they're talking about is important, because they have been crapped on. We got issues with the VA. We've got issues with veteran suicide. If we don't start respecting these people, even if you disagree with them, I just don't know what else to say. This is a heavy one to do, and I hear what they're saying, and it breaks my heart that they can't get any love. They can't get any love. They can't be heard because we got celebrity fake truthers, patriots, patriots out there like Derek Johnson, and it's breaking my heart. Like I'm saying, like his brother said, half brother, there's truth to what these guys do. There's truth. I wouldn't have followed Gene if there wasn't some truth. You wouldn't follow any of these people if there wasn't some truth. But there's an echo chamber aspect to all of this. They'll pull you into the anti-vaxxer echo chamber. Now, we don't consider it the anti-vaxxer echo chamber, but that's what happens. We're now in a conspiracy theorist echo chamber, or anti-vaxxer, far-right, extremist echo chamber to the rest of the world. We can't even have conversations across the aisle, and that's what they want us to do. They can give us 99 truths to sell us one lie. But the problem is with Derek Johnson is that it's seeming like there's a lot more than just, oopsie, you didn't go to Gitmo even though you promised that we were going to have military tribunals publicly last summer, and SG and On helped parrot that. That's a problem. But that could be, forgiven. But then all these other ones that we're pointing out here. And now we're going to get into the 3 Volley Salute. So let's do this.
And nobody has yet to address why, if I'm a conspiracy theorist, tell it laws and orders once again, but also military laws and military customs, why Donald John Trump was the only person on January 20th, 2021 with 4 cannons, 5-second intervals, 21 rounds fired, 21 guns. That is a 21 gun salute by definition at a presidential inauguration because it was on January 20th, 2021. Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. on the same day, the only cannons fired all day were 3 cannons, 9-second intervals. The first shot was a dud with no replacement fire, so there's no such thing as 20 guns. But 3 cannons, 9-second intervals, 21 guns at Arlington National Cemetery, which is a funeral service by definition. If you go to arlingtonnationalcemetery.mil, the official site, it specifically tells you the 3 volley salute is not to be confused with the 21 gun salute.
Amen.
So, on January 20th, 2021, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. received a full-grade military funeral service, and nobody wants to explain that.
Still think he's in with Trump. Still think he's one of the good guys. He's a white hat. He's getting all. He has a picture with Trump. So can anybody else with $25,000. People have literally trolled and took pictures with Trump, flipping him off and shit. You missed every executive order you quoted, and then you misquoted the ones you did say, and then your final argument was Dad Joe Biden with his military funeral inauguration. Already proved that wrong. All you have to do is look how simple this is. 3, Derek says, don't confuse 21 gun salute with 3 volley salute. That means 3 volley means 3 cannons. Go to Google or DuckDuckGo or wherever you go and type in 3 volley salute. Now it's going to send you a bunch of videos and a bunch of images. Let's see what it looks like. Oh shit, rifles. Oh, this is shotguns. It's actually a police. Oh, guys with rifles fire 3 times all at once. See what this one is. This one's probably 3 cannons, right? I bet you it is. They're just getting ready to bring out the cannons any moment. Oh, no. No. Oh, no. It's rifles, and they're all firing at once again. Let's check a different one. This has got to be it right here. This is going to be it. This is going to be the one with the 3 cannons. Because volley means cannon, right? Volley means artillery. Oh, no. It's still rifles. Damn it. Show me a 3 volley salute that has 3 cannons. Any 3 volley salute. Show me any president's funeral that has 3 cannons firing a 3 volley salute. Show me any of them. Any of them. I'll wait. There isn't one. There isn't one. A 21 gun salute or any gun salute can have between 3 and 7 artillery pieces that fire one at a time, one right after the other until you reach the number of shots. So gun 1 fires, then gun 2, then gun 3. They have different intervals. They have different times depending on the team, the weather that day, how many guns they have available. A 3 volley salute, which would signify a funeral, a 3 volley salute, which Derek claims means 3 cannons, is fired by rifles, always, between 3 and 7 riflemen, and they all fire at the same time 3 times. That's what the word volley means. It means we're all going to shoot at once, and it's like a lob shot. That's what volley means. Volley does not mean artillery. Volley does not mean cannon. Volley does not mean anything other than all firing at once in a lob shot. What you saw at Joe Biden's inauguration were 3 cannons, 3 artillery pieces instead of 4, because they were in a lot tighter area due to security restrictions and COVID restrictions, and they fired 21 shots. But again, it doesn't matter if there's got to be between 3 and 7 guns. They fired 21, which was a 21 gun salute. Same thing. 21 guns, 21 gun salute. Something's wrong with y'all.
Oh, I appreciate Will Bird, man. He's been in this fight a lot longer than I have. Thank you for your service, sir. You'll never watch this, but I also appreciate what you're doing calling out the grifters and been doing it for many years. But he took the time to explain to us all about how Derek is getting it wrong. And you saw a previous video before that where someone else also exposing that he's been called out on this stuff a long time, but everybody loves to be gaslit because his hopium sounds so good. But if you still don't understand, I'm not going to cover everything in this video. It's already gone extra long, but I did it just for you, Derek. Just for you, a little extra long here. And a lot of your fans and followers are probably not even watching at this point, but you should be, because it's all out there and the proof is there. Quit being gaslit by this guy. Quit giving him your money and believing all of his hoopla. Derek Johnson uncovered about this website. This website is to cover the misinformation Derek has been spreading since August 24th, 2022. I consider it misinformation based on my own research, which will be presented here. Derek Johnson is a patriot pacifier. He's a false, fake, patriot hero to get you to do nothing because you think that amazing things are happening. Perhaps some things are going on that we can still have discussions about. But that's why these people are put into place, to be gatekeepers of the truth and to make you feel empowered by their presence and what they speak about. I am in no way trying to defame Derek's character, as I have been accused, and many have. These veterans, like I showed earlier, death threats, it's gotten very serious. I'm probably going to take a lot of heat for this one. But since a lot of people do not understand how to do research, I'm providing this for educational purposes. And the same people that follow Derek are right in that boat, sharing all of his links and all that crap. They're just parrots of a gaslighting fool. I also want to be very clear that this is not about politics, and I did not vote for Biden. I just want to stop the spread of misinformation about Biden and Trump. Believing Derek's claims does not make it true. And there's great links here. This was actually found by somebody searching on a Tor browser. I guess it wasn't as easily accessible on the regular search engines, but we found it, and it's going to be linked and made easy for you down below this video. You got an attorney's rebuttal against the things that Derek is claiming. You have Biden's inauguration, Derek's misinformation, red flags everywhere. If you're still not convinced or understanding the 3 volley thing that we just exposed, it's all right here in videos, in breakdowns, in text. You'll understand the 21 gun salute and how it actually functions, and not the way that this patriot has been telling us all this time. This discussion still can be had, still needs to be had, and it's an important one. But I'm standing up here for the veterans and the people that have been trying to help us see the grifter that is Derek Johnson. And while I was making this video, I was also, I won't say attacked, but in a very heated back and forth with somebody that follows Derek. And now they don't like me, and that's just going to be the way it is. I'm doing this for truth. And also, while I was finishing this up, once again, Derek is attacking Crash and sending his minions out to go after her. Now she's attacking another true patriot who many know, and I know personally. And guess who it is? The one that's being exposed, maybe the hardest right now. Mickey Klon is a cool and true fighting patriot. You see these connections, and I didn't even have to draw any in this one. I was doing it from a veteran's perspective, stolen valor, and getting into the 3 volley salute here. But now you have him protecting Mickey Klon, connected to Juan, connected to the -48 stuff. She goes back a long time ago. Connected to Nino, connected to Vandersteel, connected to Flynn. She contributes to a lot that most people would never know, because she doesn't boast about what she does. And if you go back and you watch the last episode, I want you to watch all of them, if I could recommend it if you haven't already. This Matthew whistleblower and the others that have come out. In the last episode Michelle Moore did, she showed where Patriot Lindsay had tried to warn Mickey about the lies that were being spread about what she did in Maricopa County. And he's trying to say that she does not boast. And after that warning that was given by Patriot Lindsay, she went on Nino's show and boasted and made it look like she's a hero. And was so proud of herself, smiling and giggly, and I'm so amazing. You can read the rest of this on the screen. These attacks like this, where you send your whole mob after people, look, we've got to stop these people. And I've told people to go in people's comment sections and stuff like that. This guy's got a huge following. So we got to fight. And I didn't want to come hard at Derek. I'm trying to use other people's material. But then I find out about this as I'm finishing up this video, that he's continuing to send people after the ones that are calling him out. So the war continues. These fake paper patriots, patriots, and toy soldiers that are misleading you, and their holes like Swiss cheese is being burrowed into all of their personas. And this one was so important that I realized while I was editing this that I didn't even do my usual introduction. It is what it is. This has to be brought to people's attention, and I made it easy for you in this video. Derek, add me to your list. I'm here and I'm not going anywhere. This was a painfully beautiful production. This was Booma, the digital samurai for truth. And it is what it is, my friends. I love you all. God bless you, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.